Hey there folks, I thought I'd just show you my new addition to the collection. It is this thing, which is a ZX Omni, a 128HQ I think it's called, from Geordie over in China, and it's a little bit different to a normal Spectrum. This is an issue 1 Spectrum, light grey keys. Stunning design and profile as usual. This is the Bluetooth recreated Spectrum, which, you know, less ports obviously. And then this, I'll just pop the cables out. Well, I'll pop that cable out. So this is, it's got an extra button, 2 joystick ports. There's a big SD slot and a micro SD slot in there, and a set of switches. And have a look at those switches there. 1's on, 4's on, 6 on, and 8 on. That gets me a +2 emulation, all out of a little rubber key Spectrum. +2E with div MMC, and if you put the right files on the SD card, then you get Exydos as well, or Exydos, EXS-DOS, however you pronounce it. And that means that you can load games from tape. Well, you can load games from tape. I mean, you can load games from a tap file on the SD card. So on the back, I'll just give you a quick look at the back. Power button, edge slot. I don't know how compatible the edge connector is with the with standard Spectrum peripherals. We've got an ear and mic. We've got an HDMI, which is not enabled as yet. And we've got an RGB out. Now, I've got no power in this, as you can see. It's just the video cable. There's absolutely nothing else plugged in. And watch this. Bam! That is running on batteries. It's running on 2 18650s, which are sort of in that section inside. You can actually sometimes see them through the... There's that little bit, those pink there, that's it. That's the 2 batteries. So, yeah, it runs on batteries. I've no idea how long they'll last. I think Geordie said something about 15 hours without a screen, and then less, obviously, if you've got a screen attached. So, let's just press the button, the HDMI button. And that brings up Exydos Loader. And there we go. That's playing. So, pretty pleased with that. It's a few things I'm noticing. There's normally when the little character, when he beams in, let's press that. When the character beams in, it uses regular Spectrum sound, which I'm not hearing. So I don't know if it's not being embedded down the RGB cable or down the audio ports, but I'm not hearing that, and there doesn't appear to be a beeper in the Spectrum from what I can tell. So that's something interesting. And there is a big SD slot and a micro SD slot. I've no idea how the micro SD slot works as yet, because when you put stuff on there, it upsets the system. The system does actually support those switches again. The system does actually support a number of different computers, so you can have it as just a regular 48K rubber key. You can have it as a +2E. You can have it as a 9 tiles, which I think is a custom ROM. There's an SE basic ROM as well, and all sorts. ZX81, it'll even act like a ZX81, and you specify when you start it up how much RAM you'd like on it, which is pretty cool. So I am very impressed with this. A few little things. I mean, it's not all roses. The top corner, if you see there, there's a little bit of movement there. So if anybody knows how to stick a faceplate down, because I probably did this when I was maybe 10, but it's been a few years, because that's sort of lifting, and because when it's on charge, the heat in this area, especially on the actual metal pins on the joystick ports, is quite high. So there's a lot of heat there, and I imagine it's ungluing the sticky pad or the double-sided tape or something in there. I imagine if I put a load of double-sided tape under the faceplate down there, it'll help hold it down. But yeah, if anyone's got any suggestions, bang them in the comments, please. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty damn cool. Reset button on this side, so, and that comes back to the div MM. Well, it's running with div MMC and Exydos, so you don't get the normal Windows loader. You don't get the normal Spectrum loader. You get this Exydos thing, and it's nice. It comes back. I've just done a hard reset, and it came back to where I left it. So that's pretty cool. Things to take note of. There's very little in the way of information on this. So the switches, I don't know if you can just see, 8 is on the right, 1 is on the left. Now, if you happen to see a circuit diagram of that, you'll see that 8 is on the left and 1 is on the right, because it's shown as like a top down, and it looks like it's the underside of the board from what I can tell. So be aware of that, because you'll be playing around with switches 1, 2 and 3 like the diagram says, and they'll do absolutely bugger all, or at the very least not what you expect. So it's switches 6, 7 and 8 physically as labelled are what control the machine type or the ROM type, and switch number 1 is the div MMC enable or disable, which you have to have on if you're going to use Exydos. But yeah, other than that, I'm really pleased. It's really nice looking. I mean, I know from other people that have said Geordie's cases and key mats and metal plates and things are top quality, and I've got no complaints there at all. The machine it looks beautiful. It feels pretty much, I mean, if I compare it to, I mean, this is older, so the rubber's kind of going a little bit, I suppose, but that's got a certain feel. The recreated Spectrum, it's more bouncy, and it's got a firmer feel to it, but it's still very much, you know, dead flesh, BMX, bike tread, that sort of thing. It really brings back the memories. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. So there we go. That was a quick view of the Omni HQ. This is actually the laptop version. It's just that I don't have the screen yet. The screen will be shipping on separately. So that's the whole idea of why it runs on batteries, because of course, why wouldn't you just power it up from a main socket? Well, it has a 9-volt supply that comes with it. I found I had to, you can't see that, but I had to trim a bit off the plug. It was a bit snug. It was a bit too snug for my liking, so I didn't want to risk pulling the DC barrel socket off the PCB, or at least putting a bit of twist on it. So I shaved a tiny bit off the plug, and it fits like a dream now. So there you go. Omni HQ laptop minus the screen. See you later.